Giannis now with the chance to complete the N1 play here at the free throw line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 1,201, 1,202, 1,203, 1,505, 1,506, 1,507, 1,508.
Lane violation. Another shot.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Heavily Contested Podcast, the podcast where...
Bro says a bunch of dumb stuff, and Trev got to correct him.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely not true. So we're going to be moving on from that. So the man who has just been saying that blasphemy over there to my right is one of our hosts, Travis Dampierre, and I am your other host, Alejandro Flores. So in today's episode, we're going to be going over the NBA Finals. Now, this Finals has taken a turn after...
No, actually, it's been a lot different than the way I thought it was going to be.
Yes.
I thought it was going to be completely different after the first two games.
And actually, we could go a little more in depth after that, after we introduce ourselves and how this podcast got started. So, Travis, I think you could start first.
Okay, well, you guys know me. You know, I'm a 5-star football player and stuff. So, you know, me and Joe, we played on the same team together.
Yeah.
And he was my quarterback in practice. He threw me a lot of interceptions. And pretty much what ended up happening is we started to really bond over that. And then we both realized that we like sports, you know. And then he was like, hey, let's do a podcast. I was like, okay, I guess we're doing a podcast. So here we are.
Yeah, and for my side of the story, we actually met in elementary school. And,
yeah, we did.
You know, and it progressed into high school. And I really like the way that he just lied a lot, you know, really appealed to me. So, you know, like how he just did right now.
I speak the truth.
No, but either way, we became good friends. And yeah, we kind of had this idea when Travis started doing his Bay play. So go follow that on Instagram. He's doing his own thing too. So I guess the way too we can introduce ourselves is who our favorite teams are and our favorite players. So you kind of get an idea of who we are as fans. So for me,
Dro's a bandwagon.
If you can't tell from the back right there, I am a 49ers fan. I grew up, that's just how I was raised as a 49ers fan. I've been to a lot of games, season ticket holder, I'm proud to say. So I'm a big...
Season ticket holder, you guys.
Hey, hold some big respect right there. So yeah, just so you know, I'm a big fan. And then actually, surprisingly enough though, my favorite player is Aaron Rodgers. I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan. And
That's a little contradicting, don't you think?
Oh no, that's the GOAT. And I'll be willing to argue that.
Didn't the Packers play the Niners like 2 years ago?
Yeah. The Niners won. I was happy for my Niners. But, you know, I'm still a Rodgers fan. That's the GOAT right there, just so you know. And I'll be willing to debate that with anybody. I'll be willing to debate that. Okay. And also, I'm a Warriors fan. I grew up as a Warriors fan. But I am a Giannis Antetokounmpo fan. That is my favorite player in the league right now. So I definitely have a lot to talk about with him. Okay. And this is where it gets bad. Go ahead.
This is not where it gets bad, guys. This is where everybody stand up. You know what I'm saying? We got to walk around for this, bro.
Okay.
We raise the nation up in here, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my God.
We used to be in Oakland, the team. We used to be in L.A., but now we in Vegas. We got clubs during the games. Everybody going to turn up during the games. So you already know we already better than Levi's Stadium.
Oh my God!
Allegiant Stadium is definitely worse.
So why are you still loyal? So the team wasn't even loyal to you, man. They left the city.
No. Oakland didn't want us there. Oakland didn't love the Raiders. But guess what? The people in Oakland, we all still love the Raiders. I'm not from Oakland, but you mean what I know. You mean what I mean? Anyways, I'm also. This is where it gets a little tricky. My NBA. I am a LeBron fan. Okay, you can see. You probably can't see on the bracelet, but I wear LeBron bracelets every day. LeBron's definitely the GOAT of basketball. I don't think we need to debate that, right? We won't talk about that right now. But
not right now.
LeBron is the GOAT. Better than Jordan. I'm sorry. I'm just telling you that right now.
We do not care.
And so that leads me to being a Lakers fan. I'm a Warrior hater, and I'm a Niner hater. So that's why I'm a Raider fan, and that's why I'm a LeBron fan / Laker fan. We'll see what happens after he leaves the league. I think I'm going to be a Laker fan.
And he had the audacity to call me a bandwagon fan. So we're going to move on from that point right there. Now, we're going to go back onto the point of the NBA Finals. Now, this Finals really just swung in a whole nother direction after Game 2. So, Game 1 started off, the Suns won 118-105 versus the Bucks. And the game leaders, this was when Giannis came back after his hyperextension.
Oh, yeah, hyperextension.
Pretty serious injury, all right?
Like
that's a serious injury. I want you guys to realize that. And Giannis came back from a serious injury and still dropped 20 points.
20? Did you say 20 points?
Did you let me finish my...
Did you say 20 points?
Can I finish? And 17 rebounds. 17 rebounds.
Wait a minute. So Giannis is the best player on his team?
Yeah. Oh, wait.
This is the NBA Finals.
You don't want me.
20 points.
Oh, you don't want me to continue. Here we go.
In his first game back, he didn't even play the series before.
You're hanging on to this point, because watch. Here we go. Chris Paul had 32 points also to start the game. Chris Paul.
Banana Boat Brothers, baby.
With a solid performance there. And then we go into Game 2, and then the Suns win again, 118-108. So just a closer game by only 3 points. Giannis now drops 42 points,
finally
12 rebounds, and 4 assists. Devin Booker follows that up also with 31 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. So in Game 2, it was really just a performance from Giannis alone, and then really the downside was Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday really not stepping up in that moment. And it was looking bad here. At Game 2, I remember talking to you. Oh my goodness. I remember talking to you after this game, and I said that this series was over because I believed that the Suns were going to win at least one in Milwaukee.
I didn't think the Bucks were going to win any more than one. That was going to be...
I thought the only way that this could become a series is if the Bucks took one in Phoenix, because I believed that the Suns would have went into Milwaukee, either Game 3 or Game 4, and had taken one of the games.
Obviously, that did not happen.
And we'll get to
Game 3.
Game 3. Well, Game 3 was a bit of a surprise to me. The Bucks beat the Suns 120-100. Giannis with 42 points this time. Oh, wait. Apologies. 41 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 assists. And then the next leading scorer for the Suns was Chris Paul with only 19 points, but also with 9 assists. So we'll give him a little
that was
charity.
He's a banana boat, bro. But
we'll give him a little bit of charity. And then going into Game 4. So this was the game now where the series finally picked up some momentum. It started having some good games, some close finishes.
Yeah.
Because the first 3 games, I guess we could say, are really
kind of like either lopsided in one way,
or they were just handled by the finish. The score is shorter only because the backups came in. So Game 4 now, Bucks win 109-103 versus the Suns. And the game leaders, Devin Booker this time drops 42 points. And then guess who decides to join the series? Chris Michael Jordan Middleton. And Middleton decided to activate his prime MJ, and he dropped 40 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. Man, now this is a game that I said it's strange to say this, but the Bucks stole Game 4.
No, yeah, they did, because I did not expect Chris Middleton, the dude that will score 8 in one game and then score 50 the next game.
He's either Kyle Kuzma or Michael Jordan. There's no in between with that guy.
There's no in between. He's never going to be average. He's either going to be above average or he's going to be the worst player on your team.
Yeah, and there's no denying that. And the thing is about the Suns led all the way through all 3 quarters, even going up to 4 minutes into the 4th quarter, and then ended up losing that game. So a great performance from Devin Booker. All ended up going to waste. And really, the main catalyst for that could be Chris Paul, who, your Banana Boat crew member, has really faltered in the clutch here a little bit, wouldn't you say?
Next game.
Okay, here we go. We're going to Game 5 now. And this was probably the best game in the series.
Now, this is the game that I paid the most attention to. For most of the other games, I wasn't able to watch, like, the whole thing. Mm-hmm. But Game 5, I watched that whole game. So, I got a lot to say about that.
Okay, and Game 5, the Bucks go into Phoenix 123-119. The Bucks win. Giannis with 32 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. Devin Booker with another 40-point game, 40 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Booker has picked up his play ever since he dropped only 10 points in Game 3. And has now dropped 2 40-point games in losses, both. One of them being at home.
Okay. You guys notice how he's emphasizing every single point that Giannis scores, right? You notice that? You notice you've been emphasizing a lot.
Well, I mean,
talking about.
It's only because he's been the leading scorer for.
Okay. So can I tell you about your dude Giannis?
Go ahead.
My name's Giannis.
Go ahead.
All right. I did a lot of research going into this game. Okay.
Go ahead.
So, Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's projected to be like the best player in the league. People say he's better than LeBron now.
Definitely
right?
top 5.
Is he better than LeBron now?
No, I wouldn't put him over LeBron,
Okay.
but I put him top 5.
But some people like to say that he's better than LeBron. And one thing we all know about is the 25 seconds he takes shooting those free throws, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you know how LeBron, people like to say, oh, he can't make free throws in the clutch, man. He sells. I did some research.
Go ahead.
LeBron and Giannis shoot the same free throw percentage. Did you know that?
That's actually
in the regular season, they
shoot
shoot around the same free throw percentage. It's like 72.3, 71.8. It's like the same thing.
That's actually interesting. I never.
So yeah, that's interesting,
Go
right?
Go ahead.
But crazy thing is, Giannis seems to shoot worse during the playoffs.
Oh.
So in this last game, 4 for 11 free throws. Do you know what percentage that is? I'm not that good at math. Do you know what percentage?
I'm not willing to do the math, but I'm willing to say
it's less
in the
than 50. It's a lot less than 50. And in the game before that, he shot 50% as well. Mm-hmm. But I gotta just let people know about LeBron.
Yeah.
LeBron stays the same throughout the finals.
So like a typical Bron-sexual, Travis now has brought LeBron into a conversation that has nothing to do with him. And,
we have to just bring him up every time, bro.
One thing I'm going to say about Giannis that people just keep trying to shy away from the fact that Giannis is pretty much a modern day Shaq in the way that he plays his game.
He really is.
The way that he plays his game. And people have hung themselves so much on James Harden's words of a run and dunk man that they act like that's a bad thing. They act like it's a bad thing that Giannis drops 40 points, but because he can't shoot a 3, then that's a non-factor. No! Giannis dropped 42 points. He's averaging 63% on his field goal percentage. That is an insane amount to drop 40-point games like that.
He's scoring everything in the paint, though.
So why is that a problem? The ball goes in.
I'm just saying, he's not a center. He's not even a center.
He's a power forward, though. The ball goes into the basket. They score points. They win games. He gets double-digit rebounds, and he's averaging 5 assists per game this series. That's more than Devin Booker.
Is Brook Lopez gonna get some rebounds?
Well,
Brook Lopez.
Well, we could hold on. First of all, you're switching it up because
I'm just saying. You said Giannis getting all these rebounds. Who else gonna get some damn rebounds?
What?
Brook Lopez got a 10-inch vertical, y'all.
Brook Lopez is selling definitely, but that's the thing though. Giannis is picking up that slack, and then there's more to it. Rebounding is a skill. Defense is a skill. Passing is a skill, which Giannis has definitely worked on. And if you watch the highlights, you'll see how good of a finisher Giannis actually is in the paint. And the moves and like the spin moves, the layups that he puts in, those are not easy points.
The putbacks.
Hey, putbacks go in, right? They're points.
It's
all thanks to rebounding.
Make it on the first try, but we'll leave it alone.
And he gets putbacks, right? Just like DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton was great at
street ball. He's just
and it's working. It's working. It doesn't matter how the ball goes in, just as long as the ball goes in, does it not?
I guess.
Okay.
I guess.
So, on that point, I'm going to take that as a point to me for a point proven there for Giannis. But either way, so now here we are. the Bucks were in a moment now where they were down 0-2 and it looked like this series was over. And they have won off 3 straight with a chance to win the finals at home and win 4 straight. So literally after the Suns have won 2, the Suns are in a position now where they are about to get swept. They are down 3-0 right now, counting from game 2.
Okay. But this is what my main argument I want to present to you guys is. If you notice, in game 3, how many points did Devin Booker score?
10.
10 points. Okay. And that's the game that they lost by 20, right?
Yep.
So obviously, if Devin Booker would have had a normal game, that would have been completely different. So from watching game 5, I realized the reason why the Suns lose. Drew Holiday, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it up for Drew Holiday, guys.
Woo!
Drew Holiday.
I like that. I like that.
Drew Holiday is the reason why the Suns do not win games. He takes away Devin Booker out of the game. A lot of times, even in the last game, Devin Booker scored 40. Mm-hmm. But most of the times when he scored, it's not on Drew Holiday.
I agree with that.
Drew Holiday is locking him up. He won them the last game.
Yeah, he did.
He won them the last game.
100%.
Without Drew Holiday, the Bucks would have lost.
The one thing I did not show in the stat line in Game 5 was it wasn't just Giannis with 32 points, but it was the big 3 all coming in with Chris Middleton having 28 and then Drew Holiday following up with 27 and a key steal at the end of the game that led to the signature Giannis dunk that will be played in the history books.
That is not a
for the rest of history.
That was not a signature Giannis dunk.
Come on.
He jumped up with 2 hands and slammed it down.
Yes, with Chris Paul pushing him.
Okay,
with Chris Paul intentionally trying to foul him.
Did you say Chris Paul?
Yeah.
You know how tall Chris Paul is?
Okay, it doesn't matter though.
Chris Paul is like 5'11". Hey, he's not even 6 feet.
He's a grown man though, you know. He's got grown man strength.
He's fat now. He's not even in shape.
Wow, you're going against your own banana boat crew member. You're just throwing him under the bus just so you can.
He's good, but he's not even like, oh my gosh, Giannis is 7 feet tall with 10 feet arms.
Yeah.
And you telling me he gonna look down and be like, oh hey Chris.
Hey, you go watch the highlight and see how crazy that dunk was. Because what Giannis did was he had to catch it behind and put it in while Chris Paul is pushing his hip
that
all
direction. He does all game. I would expect you to do that. That's his only skill on offense.
That's his only skill?
What else does he do on offense?
He is an incredible...
He can't dribble. He can't shoot.
Oh, my God. He's an incredible
His only way to score...
He's not a run and dunk man, though. The finishes that he makes at the paint, the floaters. He's actually worked on... If you watch his step-back fades now, he's actually improved when it's on the baseline. His step-back fades have muchly improved. And he's also a great rebounder, offensively and defensively. And a passer. He had 8 assists in Game 4. And 6 assists to follow up in Game 5. Making him the second place in assists on the team.
So are you telling me... Do you think Kobe was a good passer?
I think Kobe was a good passer. He just didn't pass as much.
Okay, so why did Kobe pass here and there? Because even in his last game, didn't he have a couple assists where he scored 60?
Are you talking? Ooh.
In Kobe's last game.
Kobe's last game.
I think he did have a couple assists.
Well, I want to just mention, because I do remember this stat line, but Kobe in his last game was 20 of 60.
Yeah, that was... He shot every single shot pretty much.
Yes.
But... The reason why I say that is because Giannis is in the post the whole time, right? Mm-hmm. And most of the time he attracts so much attention.
Because he's such a good finisher in the paint, I mentioned.
Because he's playing bully ball. So all the people, they try to come help out. Like, hey, y'all trying to jump in. We going to help. So they come help. You know what I mean?
And it spaces the floor.
So, obviously, he has 3 dudes on him. So this is an easy pass. This is an easy pass. Even this is an easy pass. You know? I think I could do that too. Couldn't you do this?
Over a 7-foot DeAndre Ayton?
Giannis is 7 feet too.
Okay, but here's my only point is why should a point like that go against Giannis?
I'm not saying that he's a bad passer. I'm just saying I'm not going to give him credit for his passes, you know?
And that you sound like a hater right now.
No, I'm not. I'm not a hater. I'm just saying I think that he's decent at passing the ball. He's a great inside finisher. But I don't think that he's throwing times that I'm like, ooh, that was such a great pass, Giannis. No.
But
there's nothing.
He should be credited for his way that his court vision and the way that he sees
his court vision.
Here,
he plays football and basketball.
Okay, so obviously you're not watching.
He's doing this. He's doing this.
You're obviously not watching every single game because if you have, then you would have seen some of the passes that he's done from the top of the key itself too. Because remember, they leave Giannis open for three every time, and he still finds people open that he passes down to. And I'm glad because here's the thing. Giannis, early on in the playoffs, had this need. He let the media get to his head where he felt like he had to shoot the three-point ball every time he was open, when that's not his game. His game is the paint, and he should not be ashamed of that because he plays bully ball and he...
Watch your profanity.
Excuse me, I will bleep that out later. I just realized that now. I will bleep that out later. But just because he punishes other big men in the paint, he should not be discredited because of that. Just because he's not as flashy as Devin Booker, or he doesn't have that step back three.
Devin Booker is.
Okay, but we're not talking about flashy. We're talking about efficiency. He is shooting 60% and averaging 32 points per game throughout the entire series and has dropped 2 40-point games. In the end, that he can't be discredited for that. And people like to discredit it because they like to listen to his words. They like to listen to James Harden and everything he said. But I think we should move on from that point because we have been on it for a while now. So we're going to move on to the next thing. We have a couple of things we want to do. So first one is we're going to see who was your breakout player in this finals.
Okay. Definitely my breakout, I got to say, is Jrue Holiday. Because for me, like Jrue Holiday, I remember when he got drafted to the Sixers, right? Mm-hmm. He wasn't really anything special to me. He was like, okay, he's just going to be a decent player in the league. And then when he got to the Bucks, I started seeing like a difference. Like he really makes a huge impact on the team. Like without Jrue Holiday, people like Steph Curry, Damian Lillard,
yes,
and point guards like that, they're going to destroy you the whole game, score 50, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're going to lose. Mm-hmm. But Jrue Holiday, like I said earlier, he's the reason why the Suns lost Game 3 and the reason why they just lost their last game. So, in conclusion, what I'm going to say is Jrue Holiday's most valuable player. I'm just going to say it.
He's your MVP of the series?
He's my MVP of the series.
Oh, my goodness.
So, we're going with Jrue Holiday, and I don't think it's close. Close.
Okay. So, I actually do have to agree with you. I do believe Jrue Holiday has become very underrated, only because Jrue Holiday he's not as of a consistent scorer as, the great point guards in the league.
Not really, he can score.
He can score like he did in the last game, but he could also be very inconsistent. So, but he's always been underrated in his defensive game and the way he's locked down other players, and especially Chris Paul in this series. Yeah. And when he's on Devin Booker, he has locked him down too. We have seen that. But for me, I don't put him as a breakout player only because I don't see him as, in my eyes, I've never seen him as underrated. I've always appreciated his defensive game. So the guy that I think is a breakout player for me is Mikal Bridges.
Who?
You said who?
Mikal Bridges.
Who?
Who? Mikal Bridges. And he is I believe the small forward. That's his position. He goes from small forward on the Suns. He is a starter.
This is one thing I wanted to point out to you.
Yeah.
When I took my notes and I did my research on the Suns, I didn't even write down his stats because I don't know who that is.
Okay. Well, all you got to know about Mikal Bridges is that in Game 2, he dropped 27 points, which is a career high for him.
That's a career high.
And you got to understand, this is breakout player we're talking about here. So we're talking about a player who
We're not talking about Terrence Mann. We're talking about someone a little underneath Terrence Mann.
Not Terrence Mann level, but I would say he does deserve his credit, though, because he is averaging as, kind of a role player. He's averaging 13 points per game, which doesn't seem great. But it's on 54.8 field goal percentage.
He's averaging what? 13
points per game. But understand,
13 points per game.
On 54.8% field goal percentage.
That is a good
And as a shooter, like Mikal Bridges is, he's always off in the corner and he's always in the mid-range game. He's a shooter. That's a great field goal percentage. 45% from 3 is great. That's Stephen Curry level as a 3-point percentage. And he has a 4.4 plus minus. So the only reason I give this to Mikal Bridges is because of the fact that he has stepped up from his regular season and his previous playoff series, and he has actually stepped up tremendously, especially in Game 2 most notably. And in I believe it was Game 5, this most recent game, he actually had 15 points, but he only missed 2 shots. I believe it was 5 for 7.
So he takes about 6 shots a game.
Yeah, but he's scoring 13 points per game off of those 6 shots. So he's a role player. He knows who he is as a role player, but he has stepped up tremendously in this series. So that's why he's my breakout player. I agree with your point with Drew Holiday, but I don't see him as a breakout player. I've seen Drew Holiday has had the hype.
I can see what you're saying.
You know, he's a first team all defense, so he's gotten recognized.
My eyes like really destroyed right now.
It's all good. It's all good. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
right?
I understand what you're saying.
For me,
but
that's what I see.
I just feel like Drew Holiday, man, somebody that could lock you up, you ain't gonna score nothing.
Yes.
I think that's way more valuable than 15 points.
Oh, of course.
We could get Alex Caruso, who's bald and 40 years old. He could score 15 points for us. I'm not going to call him a breakout player. But if he locks down somebody.
The only reason I'm going to call him a breakout, I'll call Caruso a breakout player if he starts averaging 15 because that's such a big increase from what he normally does. And it's stepping up in the finals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in that sense, I have to go with Mikal Bridges.
He is younger than Drew Holiday.
And Mikal Bridges is a young player, so he's showing that he's definitely got he's got that it factor a little bit, and he's gonna.
He got the what?
Maybe I went a little too far with that.
Yeah,
my point. But either way, it's showing that Mikal Bridges he can be a baller, and he's very young. So then he's gonna have time to continue to develop.
He's gonna be out of the league in 3 years.
That's cap. Mikal Bridges is gonna be just fine. But going on to the next point. So now we're gonna go on to the opposite of it.
The disappointment. I got 2 disappointments, yo.
2.
I got 2.
Go ahead.
First of all, the Suns were up 2-0. We all thought like, oh man, this series is over. Devin Booker's the new Kobe Bryant. He might be the next Michael Jordan. All right.
No one said that, right? You didn't hear that from nobody, right?
Okay, I said that myself.
Okay.
But he's going to be the next Kobe Bryant. That's what we all was thinking, right?
Yes, I have seen that comparison a lot.
He's going to win Finals MVP. He's going to
MVP.
win at least 2 more.
Everyone says his game replicates Kobe Bryant.
I mean, that was one of his huge idols. So that's what we were all thinking. Then out of nowhere, the Bucks take Game 3. Devin Booker only scores 10 points. 10 points, Devin Booker? Kobe is...
That was easy for Drew Holiday to lock down. Keep going. I'm just...
Why did you click that button right now, Joe?
Because it was easy for Holiday to lock down.
So then after that, the series takes a huge change. Let me see.
you do that while you're doing it. Thank you, Travis. Thank you for multitasking. This is Travis' laptop, by the way, so the reason I don't know the password is because it's his.
Password to my laptop.
Just forgot.
But anyways, so after that, everything changed. And for that reason, now they started off 2-0. Now they went 0-3. I got to put this on Monty Williams. Tavares Montgomery Williams.
I like that.
I looked up his name.
That's a good take. That's good.
Tavares Montgomery Williams.
That means you really upset
his name is Tavares. He don't even go by his real name. That dude didn't remember, oh yeah, we beat them by doing this and by doing this. No. I thought that it was going to be like, okay, they lost the first 2 games in Milwaukee. So I was like, okay, maybe it was a home field advantage type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah.
You lost on your home court. And you could have called timeout, Monty. You could have called timeout. When you see Devin Booker have 3 dudes on him, you should be up to the rep. Hey!
He should have. No, he definitely should have.
He didn't do that.
I agree.
He let his star player get ripped, and they lost the game.
Yep. Definitely.
So that was my first one. My second one is DeAndre Ayton. Now, DeAndre Ayton was a number 1 pick. Was it 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
I believe it's
number 1 pick. And he hasn't, he's been a number 1 pick. It wasn't like he's been a bust or anything. In the regular season, I believe he averaged somewhere around 22 points, something around there.
Yeah.
So, when you get to the finals, He's the second best player on the team. I'm sorry, Chris Paul.
Whoa.
No.
You're putting him over Chris Paul?
Just listen. This is what I'm trying to say. DeAndre Ayton is not better than Chris Paul, but he should play better because he's younger, and Chris Paul has had so many injuries and stuff. Chris Paul is probably not 100% at all right now. I don't know what percentage he's at, but DeAndre Ayton should be playing to Chris Paul's level or better. That's my opinion. Because Devin Booker has the ball most of the time in the perimeter. Chris Paul hasn't been able to, be the scorer that he once was.
Yes.
So DeAndre Ayton should be stepping up.
The only reason I'm going to go against that is because I expected a bit of a decline from Ayton, only because I knew he was going up against a taller, stronger Bucks team.
That is true.
With Giannis on him and then Brook Lopez also in the low post. Brook Lopez may have a 10-inch vertical, but he is a big dude. And the thing about DeAndre Ayton is that he succeeded against teams like the Clippers, and he succeeded against teams like the Lakers because, of course, the Lakers had Anthony Davis out, so they had one of their big men out. And Drummond is not really.
Drummond, I don't know what's
he
wrong with
Drummond. He underperformed that series.
We're gonna talk about him in a whole episode. He's gonna be the whole episode.
and then damn it, whatever. And then the Clippers. The Clippers went with a small ball lineup.
And Ayton just went crazy.
Yes, the Clippers went with a small ball lineup with Nicholas Batum at the 5 spot, and they did it to try to.
Nicholas Batum was number 5.
He was their 5, and they did it. They did it because they wanted to stretch out the floor. They thought that stretching out the floor, having all 3-point shooters, would bring Ayton out the paint and that they would succeed. And some games it worked, but for the majority it didn't. And obviously, game 2, Ayton had the game winner in that game. Obviously catching the lob. And Zubats could not hang with DeAndre Ayton as well. So Ayton has had a good time going against mediocre, just kind of average.
There was no inside protection really.
No, not at that level. So
that's why I think of him as a disappointment, because it's like, okay, I seen you go crazy. You won them one of the games with one of the most iconic alley-oops I ever seen.
Behind Giannis.
I really feel like that's.
Had to put that in there. Keep going. You're doing great. You're doing great, son.
This is the type of stuff I mean, guys. But he scored 6 in game 4, and he scored 10 in game 2.
Yes.
For me, if he's not the number 2 player, he's the number 3. So if Devin Booker scored 10 in game 3, right?
Yeah.
So where are you at, DeAndre Ayton?
Step up. That's
where are you at?
No, 100%.
He scored 18.
Mm-hmm.
That's not enough.
Yeah.
That's not enough.
I agree.
If your star players can't score anymore, like when Kobe couldn't score, guess who he has?
Well, Kobe always had a Shaq.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
he
always had a
Shaq.
big man.
So if Shaq ain't finishing, okay, here you go, Kobe. It's supposed to be Kobe and Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
But right now we got Kobe and Kwame Brown.
Brown.
That's not gonna work.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely.
Kwame Brown is only known for the historic game where him and Kobe combined for 82 points. Kobe scoring 81 and Kwame scoring 1. A historic game for Kwame Brown. Everyone give it up for him.
It's my dog Kwame.
Yes. And I actually love those points. Monty Williams is actually someone I had listed down, and I think you talked about it to perfection. The only thing I got to say is the lack of changes that he's made to any lineups. One thing I got to give, and man, I don't like Budenholzer as a coach. I think he's horrible with his.
Why are you talking about my dog Mike, man?
Okay, well, relax. Okay, Mike Budenholzer has had horrible coaching adjustments. The most notable one would be against the Nets, where he just continued to let Kevin Durant have his way as he continued to force PJ Tucker to be on him with no help whatsoever. Budenholzer has been
torched.
Budenholzer was bad with his adjustments, and this series, he stepped up. He's brought in different lineups. He's kept the Suns on the toes. Ever since Game 2, he has switched up the flow, and Monty Williams has failed to adjust with him. They have come out with different lineups. They have come out with different set of fives, and it has thrown the Suns.
Terrible head coaches.
And they have thrown the Suns off guards. Well, I still will argue Monty Williams should have been Coach of the Year this year for what he did.
Season, but playoffs. These are both some terrible coaches.
They were. Monty Williams was doing great up until this series. Monty Williams has kind of been caught off guard, I feel like, but. Either way, you did a great job of pointing out Monty Williams.
Thank you so
much. The other one I want to point out, we talked about it earlier briefly, was Brook Lopez. And the only reason I'm upset at Brook Lopez is he's doing solid defensively, But he's a center. And you're standing out in the three-point line.
Catch and shoot is PJ Tucker.
I mean, come on.
They got 2 PJ Tuckers on the team.
Like 2. I will say he's a better three-point shooter than PJ Tucker because PJ Tucker only shoots out the corner. But you're a center. And when you have DeAndre Ayton on Giannis Antetokounmpo, their next big guy on the Suns should not match up with Brook Lopez whatsoever.
Who's the next biggest dude? Jay Crowder?
Jay Crowder. Brook Lopez should have a field. And Brook Lopez,
I think he has like 40 pounds on Jay Crowder.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, is Brook Lopez is the all-time leading scorer on the Brooklyn Nets. Technically all-time.
Yeah.
And he did it by being a low post player. His hook shot is deadly. He could do
everything. Like, he was in the post.
Yes.
He could also shoot, too.
Yes.
But now he's like, you know what? Y'all got that. Hey,
yes.
Giannis, you got that.
And he worked when the shooting complemented the post game.
Yep.
And Charles Barkley said this many times if you watched the TNT show, but he's now gone to where it's three-pointer first, low post second. After. And it's not working. So I just wanted to briefly cover that. But really my main disappointment is Cameron Payne, the backup point guard who took over.
Cameron Payne did have a great game. I don't remember which game it was, but it was in a series past.
It was so. What happened was Chris Paul had COVID.
Yeah, it was that one.
And Chris Paul had COVID for the first 2 games of the Clippers series. And this is where we thought the Clippers would be able to take a game or two. And you know who stepped up was Cameron Payne, who actually had a 20-point game. I don't know if it was game 1 or game 2, but he also had a double-digit scoring game in the other game as well. And when Chris Paul was out,
he was lighting up the Lakers.
Cameron Payne was aggressive. He was driving to the lane. He's too fast for many other point guards to cover. And I'm thinking now.
Wait, ain't Cameron Payne Russell Westbrook's hype man?
Yeah, he is. He's the one that you've seen. He's the one that you've seen in the videos. Yeah.
Oh.
So he stepped up from his hype man to really making a name for himself, and now he is gone absent. As Trevor's over here is mimicking Cameron Payne.
He was going crazy.
He was going crazy, and then so Cameron Payne has just become absent, and especially with Chris Paul, who's also another disappointment we can mention, but I'll mention that later. Chris Paul, who's someone who could have.
We need this ring, Chris. What's wrong with you? We need this ring.
And Chris Paul, someone who is really kind of taking a back seat here in these finals. Cameron Payne is someone I expected off the bench to come up big time.
Yeah.
To be a big 6-man, especially when there's moments that Cameron Payne is in and Drew Holiday is not in.
Who's the backup point guard for the Bucks?
I believe they would make it Pat Connaughton.
Who?
Pat Connaughton.
Who?
Pat Connaughton. Pat Connaughton, though, actually, I have to give credit. He is shooting 50% from three-point range, so he's doing pretty good there.
Here we go again.
No, just have to give you the stats and what I saw from game 5.
How many points does he score?
Oh, he averages 11 points per game. It's more than Cameron Payne, though.
So, okay. I will agree with you.
He's doing a better job right now.
He's doing a damn thing.
Cameron Payne is
doing a damn thing.
Yeah, Cameron Payne is actually... He was someone I thought was going to be the X factor for this series, and he's actually really disappointed me with his play. So that's my number 1 disappointment. So are you good with this? Anyone else you have to mention?
Everybody. I think everybody's covered.
All right.
We definitely need Chris Paul to step up because, Chris, you haven't even been to when did he go to the Western Conference Finals? Never, right?
Never to that point.
Never.
Yeah, no.
He was a Western
Oh, no, he did. Yes, he did.
Last year?
No, Rockets. When he was on the Rockets and he pulled his hamstring and the Warriors were able to win that.
He didn't really play it, though.
Just a recap of that series, the Rockets went up 3-2 in that series, and they had a chance to secure the series. And Chris Paul
had KD on the Warriors. Right?
It was KD on the Warriors.
It was.
It was.
Oh,
and they were up
he was
3-2.
Injured. That was the year that they were
injured. He pulled his hamstring right before Game 6, and just like that, the Warriors, of course, without Chris Paul, the Warriors exposed the Rockets and won those last 2 games, which I have to say I'm very proud of. But either way, Chris Paul, this is his first finals appearance. So this is it, at age 36.
You're about to be out of the league pretty soon. He could play like 5 more years, but he's probably not going to play that many. I see him playing like 2 or 3.
Yeah, because of the injuries too.
This is the only finals you're going to get, Chris. Then you're going to be doing State Farm commercials full time. So you better get on your horse and start making some shots. Actually shoot some threes. We don't need to see the mid-range every time. I don't understand. How does
Nah,
that
he's
work
got
every
it-
single time?
I'll be honest with the
He
amount
does
of
the same thing every single time.
Chris Paul is disappointing me with the amount of endorsements I see, not just from Jake with State Farm, but with the other commercials too. And I don't know, man. He's just not really stepping up to that level, and to the level that he's played all season. By the way, he is technically a second. He got listed second team for all
second
overall.
team?
Yeah, second team in the point
Oh.
guard position, which he did good in the regular season. One thing we do have to respect about Chris Paul is the Chris Paul effect is real.
He has been lifting up every team that he's been.
Every team that he's
the
been to.
Suns, the Thunder,
The Thunder is his biggest accomplishment, I believe.
the Rockets. They as soon as Chris Paul left, you see a huge difference.
Yes, definitely. And that was the difference between
we would love to have you on the Lakers, Chris. So if this doesn't work out this year,
and
give
just,
LeBron a call. Hey, Bron. Kind of come to LA.
just to mention, Chris Paul is going to be a free agent after this year. So, but he is looking for a lot of money as well. So it depends on what the
A
Lakers.
lot of money. He gonna play 2 more years.
He wants a lot of money those last 2 years
Well,
in the end.
never mind. You're not coming to the Lakers.
All right. So moving on now. So now we're going into a bit of a ranking that we're doing. So we each have our own list here. We don't know what they are, but
I definitely think Droz is gonna be retarded.
no, I think
But we're gonna.
no, I definitely think
we're gonna
I definitely
straighten
think
his
I
out.
have the better list right now. But we're gonna go over our top 5 players of who we think the top 5 players are this series. So
All right, start
honorable
off at
mention.
5.
Do you want to start with an
honorable
honorable?
mention.
Because my honorable mention is DeAndre Ayton.
Okay.
So just like you, right?
agree. We
Okay.
agree.
Okay. DeAndre Ayton is an honorable mention. And the only reason is because he has had a couple games. I think the only thing too holding DeAndre Ayton back is he gets in foul trouble
Yeah.
early.
He does.
And I don't blame him. It is
It's
hard
difficult to
not.
guard Giannis.
It's hard not to foul Giannis because the thing about Giannis that makes him different from Shaq is Shaq could get a lot of offensive fouls because of the fact that if you want to talk about true bully ball, Shaq was
true
bully. He was a menace back in the day. But what
Black Air Forces.
Black Air Force energy, and the difference is that Giannis Antetokounmpo is slithery.
Yeah,
If
he's
you
a lot
could
quicker
agree to-
than Shaq.
he's
Like,
much
he could
quicker.
Go around you.
Better handles. Not saying he has incredible handles, but he does have solid enough handles to get around.
Anyways,
No. So yeah. Do you agree with that point? Solid enough. I'm not saying great.
he has
He has solid
average
handles,
handles.
which for a big man is pretty good. But he's slithery. And Giannis likes to maneuver around, so it's easy to get a blocking foul as they try to get in front of him. So I don't blame Aiden. But that's the only
You
thing
guys
that's
notice how he had to bring up Giannis when he talked about Aiden?
Well,
it's okay.
Is it not the guy that Aiden is guarding?
It's okay. It's okay.
It's a big man versus a
It's
big
okay.
man. If I was talking about Chris Paul, I wouldn't bring up Giannis because Chris Paul doesn't cover Giannis. But either way, what I'm saying is the only reason Aiden is probably not up here is because of the fact that he gets in foul trouble a lot. So, and do you want to add anything to that point, or because we both had the same honorable
We
mention?
both. I completely agree with what you said with DeAndre Ayton. I just feel like you need to step up too. If Chris Paul's not gonna step up, DeAndre Ayton needs to step up.
Yes.
So
And he has in a few occasions, but he just hasn't been as
and
consistent
he scored
this series.
the least out of all the starters a couple times, and that's not okay. The only person that scored less than him is we were gonna put him, but the only reason he's not a disappointment is because nobody cares who you are, Jay Crowder. But he scored 1 point in game 1. He scored 1 point.
Yes, I will agree to that.
So that's why he's not a disappointment, because nobody cares about you. You always talk mess to LeBron, so I don't care who you are.
Oh my God! So just
But
so you know,
anyways,
Crowded, this is personal.
This is very personal.
This is personal to you.
If you
He's
weren't
not
on the
watching.
Suns, I might be
Hey.
a Suns fan.
He's not watching this.
It's
He's
okay.
not watching this.
I hope you don't.
He's not tuning into this.
I'm gonna mess with Jay Crowder.
Okay. Either way. So now we're going into number 5 on the list. Me at number 5, I have Chris Paul. I have Chris Paul, probably a little lower. I'm assuming a little lower than you, obviously by that reaction. But I have Chris Paul 5. And the only reason is I searched it up here on the laptop. I wanted to get a look at this. I didn't have it written down, but he had 15 turnovers over the last 3 games.
That is pretty bad. But he is the one handling the ball, facilitating
Of course,
offense.
but here's the difference. So Chris Paul, of course, he's averaging 21 points per game, 8.8 assists, and on a 54% field goal percentage. But those 15 total...
That field goal percentage that Joe always talks about.
It's great. He's shooting great. But 15 turnovers over the last 3 games, that is so unlike Chris Paul.
That's 5 turnovers a game. That's
Yes.
not okay, bro.
Because what Chris Paul is known for is being this incredible facilitator, but efficient with the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's not. He's your typical point guard. Like, he makes sure the offense.
Well,
goes
they call
right.
him. They call him the point guard, right?
Point guard.
The point
yeah,
guard,
and he's
not living up to it because those 15 turnovers as a point guard is.
This is the thing. You had the right when you said Chris, but you didn't say the right Chris.
Okay, so who you got at 5?
We got Chris Middleton,
At
Michael
5.
Jordan, or Kwame Brown Middleton. He's not Kwame Brown. Who's a weak?
Kyle Kuzma.
Kyle Kuzma.
That's a Kyle Kuzma right there.
So
I will be showing the picture of the Chris Middleton cycle throughout the video, so
but
you will see.
This is the reason why we're saying that. Okay, so in Game 4, this is the game that he was Michael Jordan, right?
Yeah.
Game 5, he had a great game too.
Yeah, solid game.
But.
Oh yeah. Well,
how much do you think he scored in Game 2?
I'm gonna be willing to bet that it's 10 or below.
It's 11 points.
It's 11 points. Close.
How much
I'll
do you
take
think
that.
he
That's close.
scored in Game 3?
Game 3? If I recall, I remember he probably had like 12 again. It was
He
12
had
or 13.
He had like 17. But this is the reason why I say that. He's playing 40 minutes every single game.
Yes,
40
actually, the funny thing is I do want to point this out. Chris Middleton, most of the time, especially in the Brooklyn
He plays
series,
more than Giannis some
he
games.
averages more minutes than Giannis Antetokounmpo. They have him in, especially if you want to check back on the Brooklyn Game 7. Giannis had at least a minute or two of rest time. Chris Middleton played the entirety of Game 7.
So that's the reason why I think Chris Middleton has to be put lower. Because Chris Paul is not in the same position that Chris Middleton is. Chris Middleton was an all-star.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris Middleton, when Giannis ain't feeling good, you supposed to be the Kyrie.
Yeah.
You supposed to be able to score 42.
Well, like you said earlier, he's supposed to be the Kobe to Giannis's Shaq.
Yeah.
And sometimes Giannis is without a Kobe because Chris Middleton doesn't show up some nights.
Yeah, so that's a big issue. That's
He's not
why I can't put him higher.
Yeah,
Because he's supposed to play well.
Yep.
And you're not playing well.
Yeah.
You have a couple games where you show out. I don't understand what's wrong with you. I really don't understand. Because how do you efficiently score like 30 sometimes?
Yeah.
Like it'll be a whole week he scores 30, 35, 37. Then the next game you score 5.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
no, it's a great
that's
point.
that's why it's just like, Chris, I don't know, man.
Like you don't know which Middleton will show up, and now he's had 2 solid games. So then that's where it gets interesting
next
for game
It's
6.
gonna be bad.
Game 6, which will be later today, it's going to be interesting to see like which Middleton shows up. It's kind of a scary thought in that sense. But I'm not going to add on to any because I think you covered it perfectly. So number 4 for me was Chris Middleton. I put him up.
Okay, yeah, that's where I think Chris Paul is.
Yes, so I put him up over Chris Paul. Only reason I put him up above Chris Paul is because of the fact that he had 2 consistent games now in a row.
He did,
And he had a 40
score
point, and he had a 40-point game, which was
won them
big
the
in Game 4. He won them Game 4. Giannis gets credit with that big block. I know he gets a lot of credit, and he should get credit. Great defense, but Middleton really
They played
was
the
the
same
one who
amount of
stepped.
minutes in that game.
Yeah, and Middleton was the one who really stepped up in Game 4. And then, of course, in Game 5, he hits. Middleton technically has the second most clutch shots in a playoff run, second only behind LeBron James right now. And Chris Middleton stepping up in the clutch, so I will give him credit. Even in the games that he's had bad performances, like Game 7, when it came to the fourth quarter, he has hit clutch shots. But he is just too inconsistent for you to call him a superstar, which I have to agree to that point. You said number 4 was Chris Paul. Do you want to add anything to what I said?
No, honestly, for me, Chris Paul, we all know what Chris Paul used to be on the Hornets. And, he's definitely going to be able to keep going for a while. But I just don't think that he's worse than Chris Middleton.
Okay.
He's not as good as he should be.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's worse than
I
Chris
could see
Middleton.
those two as very interchangeable.
Yeah, those two are kind of like this. And then next up, we got...
Well, for me, number 3, I got Drew Holiday.
Okay, Alex, we might be able to.
Well,
do
let's see.
something.
With the final 2 are definitely the ones that are going to be a little interesting, but we'll see when we get to. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Either way, Drew Holiday, 17 points per game. He has a 39.3 field goal percentage, which is
He has a what?
yes, he has a 39.3 field goal percentage. But understand this: that's a horrible field goal percentage for averaging only 17.6 points per game. But he still has a 5 plus minus, a positive plus minus,
When
and
he's in
9
the game, they win.
and 9 assists.
So yeah,
And he's a perfect example of scoring isn't everything. And defense still wins championships, and Drew Holiday is the product of that. He still gets to 9. He still gets 9 to 10 assists per game, which is 9 assists. That's more than even Chris Paul's averaging right now.
Yeah.
So he's getting more assists than what Chris Paul's doing. And
Drew Holiday
then
affects the game a lot.
yeah, and then we even talked about what he does defensively, and we saw what he did in Game 5 with that amazing pick. That was a big play because Devin Booker was going to make that shot. Just so everyone gets that in there.
We already know he was gonna make it.
Devin Booker had his takeover meter. He was in the game. He was unconscious with his shooting. He was gonna hit that shot. That was a mid-range shot. That was easy for him. Drew Holiday with a great read, took the ball, stole it, and then had an amazing lob to Giannis.
Can we also add in the fact that Devin Booker wouldn't have been able to tie it up if Giannis made his free throws?
Oh, of course.
He missed both free throws.
Yeah, Giannis missed both free throws.
In
of course,
clutch.
we want to add that in. But we also want to add in the fact that free throws aren't everything to the game.
It's a big factor in the last 30 seconds.
Yes, it's a big factor. But in the end, as I said before, I'm not calling Giannis this incredible shooter. I'm calling him a modern-day Shaq. And what came with Shaq, too? Bad free throw shooting.
I was watching it with my grandma.
Yes.
And she was like, I remember Shaq, but dang, this dude might be worse than Shaq at
And
free throws.
that is cap. No, you were not with your grandma watching that game.
I was watching it with my grandma.
No.
And she was, I remember this dude. His name was Shaquille O'Neal. And what's this dude's name? She said his name was Giannis Antetokounmpo. And yeah.
Acumpo, as Flight would put it.
Acumpo. But just Giannis, you should have made them free throws. But Drew Holiday is definitely number 3. He's a
great X factor.
So this is also why the Suns should win, because they have the top 3. They have 2 out of the top 3. So I feel like you should be able to win a series.
So you have Chris Paul?
No, I'm talking Devin Booker and Giannis are. Devin Booker's in your top 2, right?
Of course.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Travis, come on now.
I'm just saying.
If I haven't mentioned him now, you know he's in.
Okay.
Either way.
So, who do you got at number 2?
Devin Booker. I have Devin Booker at number 2. And the only reason, actually, funny enough, I was really contemplating this one of putting him at 1 compared to who. We all know who my number 1 is at this point. But Devin Booker had game 3 just doesn't sit right with me with those 10 points and a bad field goal percentage. The only reason is because compared to my number 1, which is Giannis, I can't say Giannis has had a bad game this finals. He had that 20-point game in Game 1, but he also had 17 rebounds to go with it and a solid defensive performance. So Giannis has never had, he may have had an average game, which 20 points is kind of just average for Giannis, but he never had a bad game. And Booker has stepped it up. Trust me, he has surprised me with 2 40-point games in these last 2 games. He stepped up big time from that 10 points, so I got to give him credit. He does have a killer mentality as he stepped up from that bad performance and has just activated another level in these finals. But Game 3, had he performed better, who knows how different of a game that would have been.
This is what I want to say about it.
Go ahead. Wait, so before you go,
I'm gonna say what I gotta say.
Okay, go ahead.
So Devin Booker, he did mess up in Game 3. He definitely shouldn't have scored 10 points. That's not okay. We don't do that as a star player of the team. But the Suns and the Bucks are 2 completely different teams. If Devin Booker doesn't play for a game, the Suns might still win. If Giannis doesn't play for a game, they're the worst team in the league.
That is actually very true.
So the difference is Giannis needs to do that every single night. Devin Booker doesn't need to do that every single night. So that's why I don't really fault him that much, but it does give you you lose a little bit of trust in me if you could go out there and you only scored 10. But because of that game, I can't give it to him, so I will agree with you.
Whoa! No! You have to be joking. Who you got number 1? Brook Lopez? You got someone else? Come on.
Number 1.
You have to be joking with me. There's no way you just put Devin Booker.
Number 1, the best player in this series. I got PJ Tucker. Of course, we gotta go with Giannis.
Yes, sir! Giannis Antetokounmpo.
My name is Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yes, sir. But yes,
I want Now, this is the thing. If we take out Game 3, I'm not putting Giannis number 1. I'm telling you that right now.
But we can't take out Game 3.
If Game 3, if, like, we just lost our memory, we don't even remember Game 3, I'm putting Devin Booker number 1.
Yeah.
But the only reason why I would say that is because Giannis, how much he sells in the end. Because he almost cost his team the game sometimes.
Of course, with the free throws, I will say he definitely sells the team. But I think it's just, I don't know, it irks me a little bit too watching him as a Giannis fan. He just takes a back seat, you know. It's not so much of the fact that he's taking bad shots or he's missing. He just doesn't take shots at all.
He gets scared. I think he lets the media get to him too much.
He is. He's letting and I know he is because of the fact that
he end up like Ben Simmons, man. You gotta take that.
You gotta take that out of your, mind, because the one thing I'll give Giannis is in like the Brooklyn game, Game 7. That was the one time that Giannis, and I'm a big Giannis fan. I have to say, but that was like the first time that I really said, okay, this dude came up clutch in the big moment in the fourth quarter.
I didn't even expect the Bucks to make the finals.
Yes.
Even with the Nets injured, I still was like.
Well, with the way Kevin Durant was playing, it just didn't seem like
I was
there was
like,
any
Kevin
way.
Durant is the best player right now in the whole league.
Yeah. Which we could have in another. We're having a full NBA season recap. We'll have who our best players in the league are.
And Giannis beat him. So we actually did have a pretty similar list, though.
Yes.
I'm actually surprised.
No, I'm surprised. The only thing it falters is the first two, but those, like we said,
are
interchangeable.
So it's not really. Okay, you're not too dumb.
No,
Alex.
man.
Like I thought you were like
a
little messed up.
You're not half bad, Travis. You're a cool guy.
Okay.
You're a cool guy. But I do have to say too, what that might mean too, is that it is a pretty obvious list too, with both of us going with those opinions. I think it's kind of clear who the best players are. So that's a lot for the finals recap. So now to end the show, we have to say, I gotta ask you, who do you have Game 6?
You know who I got Game 6.
Go ahead. Give it to me, because I actually really don't know.
Now, let me tell you exactly what's going to happen in Game 6, okay? The Mamba. Black Mamba. The Mamba mentality. It lives inside of Devin Booker. He went to sleep last night, and he started getting reptile skin. It just started to take him over. Kobe came in his dreams with the 2-4, just popped up and said, Devin, it's time. Not Dame time. It's Devin time. So this is exactly what's going to happen. You're going to start off in the game. By the end of the first half, Devin Booker's going to have 25.
You think Devin Booker's going to have 25 by the end of the first half?
End of the first half. By the end of the game, I think he'll have 50.
Woo! You got a 50 bomb in an NBA Finals.
I got a 50 bomb by Devin Booker.
I don't think that's happening.
This video will be out before the finals, so you'll know that I didn't see this. Okay, I'm not a time traveler. I'm just telling you right now.
I think
this is going to be in Milwaukee too, right?
50-point game since LeBron James did it in 2018, and he lost that game. Actually, might I add?
He was trying to face a whole
J.R. Smith incident. We know that one, but 50 points from Devin Booker, and you got a Suns win. So then I'm assuming, too, you're going to probably say the Suns win the whole series after that. You do got them in Game 7. Okay. I have gone with the Suns, the series, and I've told you this. Yeah. I'm a big, again, I'm rooting for the Bucks because I'm a big Giannis fan. But I said that this series, I just think that the Suns are a complete team.
Like, they're a real team.
No,
we seen that like for the first time against the Lakers when they went against them.
And I actually have to say, I don't even think I saw it so much against the Lakers, but I saw it after they beat that Lakers team. Because the only reason they really beat the Lakers is because they were injured. Because LeBron came after their first game loss, they came back and they won 2. It was up 2-1 in the series with another game at home. I thought the Lakers were gonna have it, and then AD pulls his hamstring. Was it a hamstring?
I don't even remember what happened. He's injured every week, so
yeah,
I don't even remember.
We're losing track of AD's injuries, but either way, so the Suns are a complete team, and they played like that all playoffs long, and they played it like that in games 1 and 2.
We just need Tavares to know what he's doing.
And they did. And the Suns played so good in Game 5. They got up to, at the highest was a 16-point lead. But the only reason they lost is because the Bucks' big three, for the first time in the entire playoffs, I think, It was the night that they all three showed up scoring wise, and then of course we know what Giannis and Drew do defensively as well. I've gone with the Suns. I have said when the Suns won games 1 and 2, I said that the Suns would take one in Milwaukee, and it was one of those 2 games, but they did not. And now the Bucks have gone in with the momentum and taken Game 5 as well, and now have a chance to close it out in Game 6. And I don't know, you could see from my paper right here, I have a question mark next to it, but I think I'm going to go with the Bucks. I think I'm going to go with the Bucks only because momentum is huge right now, and it's the fact that they took one in Phoenix, and now they have a chance to close it out in home. That stadium is going to be fired up. That team is going to be fired up.
Finals, right?
This
could be their first
since since 77.
So I don't count. So
I mean, since 77, that's like 40 years almost.
Who even was Oscar Robertson? That was Oscar Robertson.
That was a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah.
Oscar Robertson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar go to the courts. They go to the NBA Finals games in wheelchairs and canes. Yeah. That was the last time that the Bucks won something. So I don't count those, but we can count them to just say, oh yeah, they've been there before. But the game was completely different back then. They probably only had like 6 teams in the NBA. Yes, definitely. So that don't really count. I'm sorry. So this will be the first one.
It would be the first one. It's at home.
This is definitely
the Suns' first one. They've had
Charles Barkley didn't do a damn thing.
Yeah. Well, it's Michael Jordan. They couldn't do anything really.
Did they go against Michael
Jordan?
They
went against the Bulls.
Yeah. Okay. So
they went against that Bulls team.
This will be the Suns' first one, and Devin Booker, you know how great you can be. He scored the second most points all time, right? Oh no, David Thompson has scored 73, I think. Mm-hmm. So Devin Booker, you're gonna go down in history no matter what. So you might as well not make it like a fluke, like Scott Skiles, who has like 25 assists in the game. But who the hell is Scott Skiles? So
I was about to ask you that exact question. Yeah. Who are you talking about?
That's why you don't know who the hell that is, huh?
No.
I only know that from 2K. In the games.
Oh my god.
You get like the records and stuff.
The records.
So yeah, Devin Booker, we need you to get a championship, okay? Mm-hmm. So we're gonna see how that goes, but I definitely don't think the Bucks are gonna
win. I'm not as sure, but I have to lean towards the Bucks only because it's at home. The energy from the team is, and here's the thing about the Bucks. The Bucks, I think, are definitely the more what can I say? Sharpened against adversity.
Yeah.
You want to know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Like the Suns, only besides that one little thing where they got it let off because the Lakers got hurt. Mm-hmm. But the Suns have had an easy coasting. Yeah, much. They swept the Nuggets easy. And then
they had an injured player too, though.
Yeah, of course. But I still think the Suns would be...
They probably would have still won.
Only because of the fact that every single game was a blowout. It wasn't like those Nuggets... The Nuggets didn't even compete in any of those 4 games, really. It was handled by the Suns. Yeah. And they handled the Clippers. Pretty much, they handled the Clippers. The Clippers stole 2 games, one at home and one in Phoenix. Paul George erupted.
Hey, we're going to talk about that because Paul George, he wasn't no pandemic P anymore.
Nah, he went back to playoff. The Pacers, Paul George, playoff P. But they haven't faced adversity. Like I said, they haven't faced elimination yet either.
They actually got let loose, actually, if you think about it, because Kawhi didn't play.
In the Clippers game.
What does he have, a torn ACL?
It's a partially torn ACL, which so either way, just so you guys know, partially torn ACL, it doesn't matter if it's partially torn or fully torn. They're gonna fully replace it. So he just went full knee surgery.
So his leg is broke.
Yeah.
Jamal Murray's leg is broke. LeBron and AD's whole body is broke. So they were just oh you're not playing? Oh, you're not playing either?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll see you guys in the finals.
Mm-hmm. And the only reason I want to say the Bucks is because they unlike the Suns have faced elimination when they went down 3-2 against the
Nets.
Excuse me. Yeah, against the Nets. And they won both games. They won 2 games in a row to win that series. And the Suns haven't faced elimination. I don't know.
We don't know what they can do.
What they could do when their backs are against the wall. What do they bring?
Devin Booker.
That's and we could see that. But I think, man, it's hard going against the Suns just because I know how they could play when they're all clicking. But I just think in Milwaukee with a chance to, and the X factor, of course, isn't going to be Giannis because we know Giannis is going to get his, 20 to 30 points. Maybe even 40 if it's really crazy. And we know Drew Holiday will probably lock down again. It's Middleton. Which Middleton is going to come out Tuesday night?
He did score two. He had
two games in a row now where he's played like prime MJ.
So, we already know what's about to happen, guys. If you roll the dice.
It's 50-50, really.
I don't think it's 50-50.
You don't think it's 50-50?
No, I think it's pretty likely he has a bad game.
You think he's... Okay. So, yeah, I'm going to bank on the fact that Chris Middleton is going to show out here Game 6 with a chance to close out and win an NBA Finals. And I think the Bucks will get their first title since, I believe it was 77. Yeah.
Okay.
But
that's fair to say. But I also partially think that the league controls things a little bit. Like, I don't think that the league would let that happen.
But if you want to talk about league controlling, first of all, that's like conspiracy theory stuff. But some of it can be. Some of it can be backed up.
This is what I thought going into the finals. There's no LeBron, there's no Steph, there's no KD. So the world needs to see something
new.
Like, we need to see a Game 7. So I definitely don't think that I just don't see it happening. I don't see him losing before Game 7.
Okay. Well, to only go against your point, if you want to talk about the league controlling and what the league wants to see, the face of the league now is starting to slowly turn towards Giannis. You know what I mean? He's won two league MVPs.
It slowly is. I was going to say it's Luka, but Luka hasn't won anything.
Luka hasn't won anything. And Giannis has a story that everyone loves. With coming poor from Athens, Greece and everything like that. And then coming in, first round pick, all that stuff. So if there's anyone that the league would want to win, I would definitely see it being the Bucks. So to go against that point. But I think it's going to be a good game because I think the Suns are going to play tough. I think if the Bucks do win, it's going to be at the most by 10 points. And that's a big at the most.
It's not going to happen, guys.
But I do believe you know what? You're pissing me off enough, Trevor. You're pissing me off enough. The Bucks are going to win by 10 points. Bingo, I'm putting it in.
Hey, guys.
Chris Middleton is going to have a solid 30-point game.
Devin Booker is going to score 50, and then you know what he's going to say?
That was easy.
All right. And that'll be all that we have for the first episode of Heavily Contested. I hope you guys tune in for this. I hope you guys tuned in for the whole entire episode, and I hope you guys tune in for the NBA Finals to see whose prediction was right and who was wrong.
And make sure you send me my message when Devin Booker scores 50. You know where to holler at me at Bay Plays, or I think we're gonna have our Instagrams tagged in here.
Yes, we should. We should have our Instagrams in the description.
You guys will see it. It's Trippy Trev in the building. And, thank you for watching.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next episode.